The Sorting Hat whispered something to Harry Potter that night, something nobody heard, something that changed everything. What if I told you that the boy who lived was one choice away from becoming the darkest wizard of his generation? Not a servant of Voldemort, something far more terrifying, an independent force of darkness that even Dumbledore couldn't predict or control. Because here's what most people miss about that scene in the Great Hall. The Hat didn't just consider Slytherin for Harry, it practically begged him to accept it. You could be great, you know, it hissed into his mind, and Harry refused. But what if he hadn't? See, we've been told a comfortable lie about Harry Potter, that he's inherently good, that his choice of Gryffindor was inevitable. But the truth buried in those books is far darker. Harry Potter had every quality that made Tom Riddle into Voldemort. The Parseltongue, the fragment of soul, the hunger for recognition, the deep, burning anger at being treated like nothing. The only difference? One moment, one choice, one word. And I'm going to show you exactly how that single word would have unraveled everything, how Harry's first year alone would have transformed him into something neither light nor dark could control, how his friendship with Draco Malfoy would have twisted into a competition for power that made the original timeline look like a children's story. Because when you actually trace the psychological trajectory, when you map out the environmental pressures and the social dynamics of Slytherin House, you realize something bone-chilling. Dark Harry wouldn't have needed to join Voldemort. He would have replaced him. The signs were always there, the willingness to use unforgivables, the ruthless streak in battle, the fact that even in canon, Dumbledore had to literally engineer Harry's death to prevent him from becoming too powerful. What happens when you remove those safeguards, when you surround that raw potential with students who see power as virtue and ambition as oxygen? Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you see every single Harry Potter book. We're going to walk through this transformation, step by step, year by year, choice by choice, until you understand exactly why this version of Harry is the most dangerous thing the wizarding world never saw coming.
The moment the Sorting Hat touches Harry's head in this timeline, something shifts in the air that nobody notices. Not yet. Harry still thinks, not Slytherin, not Slytherin, but here's the twist. The Hat responds differently. It doesn't argue, it sympathizes. Afraid, are we? It murmurs. Afraid of what you might become, or afraid of what you already are? That question breaks something in Harry's mind because he is afraid. He spent 10 years in a cupboard being told he's worthless, being beaten down, being starved for recognition. And now this magical hat is telling him he could be great, could be powerful, could make everyone who ever hurt him regret it. And his only reason for refusing is, what? Ronald Weasley's prejudice? A few words from a boy he met 5 hours ago? The internal rebellion is instant. Why should he let Ron Weasley decide his fate? Why should he let anyone decide his fate ever again? Slytherin, Harry whispers. Just one word, but the Hat hears the rage underneath it. Slytherin, it shouts, and the great hall falls into a silence so complete you could hear a pin drop in the astronomy tower. Dumbledore's eyes lose their twinkle. Just for a second, just long enough for us to understand that the script he'd been writing for 11 years just caught fire. Harry walks to the Slytherin table, and the applause is confused, uncertain. These students expected Potter, sure, but not like this, not with that look in his eyes like he's daring someone to object. Draco Malfoy is staring at him with an expression that's 1/3 shock, 1/3 calculation, and 1/3 something that might be respect. But here's what nobody in that hall understands yet. Harry isn't going to Slytherin to become one of them. He's going because he's already figured out what they haven't. In Gryffindor, he'd be the hero, the figurehead, the symbol. Everyone would expect selflessness and sacrifice and noble suffering. In Slytherin, ambition is rewarded, power is respected, and nobody expects you to die for them. Harry sits down next to Draco, and the blonde boy extends a hand, that same hand Harry refused on the train. This time, Harry takes it, not in friendship, in transaction. "This should be interesting," Draco says. Harry smiles. It doesn't reach his eyes. Yes, it should. The first night in the Slytherin common room, Harry learns the most important lesson of his new life. Information is currency, and he's been hoarding gold without knowing it. The oldest students circle him like sharks who can't decide if he's prey or competition. They want to know everything. How did he survive the killing curse? Does he remember that night? Is he really a Parselmouth, or was that just a rumor? What does Dumbledore have planned for him? And Harry, who spent his entire childhood being invisible, being nothing, suddenly realizes he holds every card in the room. So he does something that would never occur to Gryffindor Harry. He lies. Not big lies, small ones, strategic ones. He tells them just enough truth to seem honest while withholding the pieces that matter. He mentions Parseltongue but doesn't demonstrate it. He describes the scar's pain but attributes it to random headaches, not Voldemort's proximity. He plays confused about Dumbledore's interest, making it seem like the headmaster is manipulating him rather than protecting him. Within 3 hours, he's not just accepted in Slytherin, he's fascinating to them. Unknown to Harry, he's stumbled onto a technique that will define his next 7 years: controlled vulnerability. Show them enough weakness to seem real, enough strength to seem valuable. Draco becomes his first real study in human manipulation. The Malfoy heir wants to be Harry's friend genuinely, but he also wants to be seen as Harry's friend. His ego needs it. So Harry gives him that: public alliance, private distance. He lets Draco lead in social situations, while Harry observes, learns, catalogs every power dynamic in the house. But the real shift happens during that first week, when Snape pulls Harry aside after potions. In the original timeline, Snape's hatred is obvious, venomous. Here, it's complicated, because Harry's in his house now, under his protection, and Snape sees something in Harry's eyes that makes him pause, something familiar and deeply disturbing. "Your mother," Snape says slowly, "would not have wanted this." Harry looks at him with that flat, calculating gaze he's been perfecting. "My mother is dead. She doesn't want anything anymore." The words hang between them like a curse. Snape's face goes pale, and for just a moment, Harry sees actual fear in the potions master's eyes. Fear of what Harry might become, fear that it's already too late.
Here's where the timeline fractures completely. Harry still learns about the Philosopher's Stone, but his motivation is the opposite of heroic. He doesn't want to protect it. He wants to understand why someone would try to steal it. What kind of power does immortality represent? What could you accomplish with infinite time?
The questions consume him in a way that disturbs even Draco, who thought he understood ambition. But Harry's approach is methodical, patient, Slytherin in the truest sense. He doesn't rush into danger. He researches, he manipulates, he uses the library like a weapon, charming Madame Pince, befriending older students who owe him favors for helping with their homework. Harry discovers he's brilliant when he actually tries, extracting information piece by piece. The friendship with Hermione Granger becomes his masterstroke. She's lonely, desperate for acceptance after the troll incident that, in this timeline, Harry handles very differently. He saves her, yes, but coldly, efficiently, with a Serpentiotia spell that leaves Hermione both grateful and slightly terrified of him. He doesn't mock her like Ron did, he recruits her. "You're the smartest witch in our year," he tells her in the library one November evening. "Why are you wasting time trying to make friends with people who mock you? Help me instead. Help me understand what's being hidden in this school." Hermione should refuse. She should run to Dumbledore. But Harry has read her perfectly. She's starving for intellectual challenge, for someone who values her mind over her blood status. Within a month, she's researching Nicholas Flamel with the intensity of someone possessed, not to save the stone, but to understand it. The revelation of what the stone can do changes Harry. We see it in his eyes during Christmas break when he stays at Hogwarts and stares into the mirror of Erist. Dumbledore finds him there, just like in canon, but the conversation goes differently. "What do you see, Harry?" Harry knows better than to tell the truth. "My parents, sir, alive and well." But that's not what he sees. What Harry sees in the mirror is himself, older, more powerful, standing alone in a world where nobody can ever hurt him again, where everyone who ever made him feel small is kneeling. He sees himself as untouchable. Dumbledore looks into Harry's eyes and knows the boy is lying. The question is, lying about what? The confrontation with Quirrell plays out like a chess match between three players who all think they're playing different games. Harry goes after the stone, but not alone. He brings Draco and Hermione, forming a triangle of ability. Malfoy's knowledge of dark magic theory, Granger's problem-solving brilliance, and his own instinctive power. They solve the obstacles methodically, and when they reach the final chamber, Harry sends his companions back, not to protect them, to maintain plausible deniability. When he faces Quirrell, the professor's revelation about Voldemort should terrify him. Instead, Harry feels something else entirely: recognition. Here's someone else who refused to stay dead, who clawed his way back from nothing through pure will. "The boy who lived," Voldemort's voice rasps from Quirrell's head. "You've grown interesting, Harry Potter. The hat wanted to put you in Slytherin, didn't it? Did it tell you why?" "Because I have your power," Harry says. Not a question, a statement. "More than that, you have a piece of my soul." The revelation should break him. Instead, it's the first thing in Harry's life that makes complete sense. The Parseltongue, the connection, the dark thoughts he's been having that feel both foreign and intimately his own. He's been carrying Voldemort's essence, and instead of being horrified, Harry understands that this is where his power comes from. "Give me the stone," Voldemort demands, "and I will teach you magic that Dumbledore hides from you. I will show you what you truly are." Here's the moment that separates Dark Harry from Voldemort's servant. Harry refuses, Not because it's wrong, because he won't be anyone's apprentice, anyone's tool, anyone's second choice ever again. If he's going to have power, it will be his own, earned and taken, not gifted by a master he'd have to serve. The stone appears in his pocket through the mirror's magic, and Harry does something nobody expects. He doesn't destroy it. He doesn't give it to Dumbledore. He hides it in a place only he knows, a location he'd prepared weeks ago, using Hermione's research and Draco's family knowledge of Hogwarts secrets. When Dumbledore finds him unconscious in the chamber, the stone is gone. Nobody knows where. The Philosopher's Stone, the key to immortality, is in the hands of an 11-year-old boy who just learned he's carrying a piece of the Dark Lord's soul. Second year is when Harry stops pretending to be normal and starts building an empire. The Chamber of Secrets opens, and while everyone's terrified, Harry sees opportunity. He's a Parselmouth. He can control whatever's down there. And unlike the original timeline, where this ability made him suspect, in Slytherin it makes him fascinating, dangerous, valuable. But here's the twist. Harry doesn't immediately reveal his ability. He watches. He observes Draco's father's machinations with the diary, recognizes it as dark magic, and realizes something crucial. Tom Riddle's memory is in that book, and it's trying to return, another piece of Voldemort, like the one in his own scar. The temptation to destroy a competitor is immediate, but Harry spent a year learning to think 3 moves ahead. What if, instead of destroying it, he could control it? What if he could turn Voldemort's own weapons against him? When Hermione is petrified, something inside Harry cracks, not because he loves her, but because she's his resource, his asset. Someone attacked what belongs to him, and the rage that surfaces is primal and terrible. Draco sees it, actually steps back when Harry's magic starts making the windows rattle in the hospital wing. "We're finding whoever did this," Harry says, voice flat and cold, "and we're making them regret it." The hunt for the chamber becomes personal. Harry starts speaking Parseltongue openly now, stops hiding it. The school divides sharply. Some students fear him, others gravitate toward his power. A faction forms around Harry Potter that even the Slytherin 7th years start to respect. He's 12 years old and commanding loyalty through pure force of presence. When he finally opens the chamber, descending into those depths with Draco at his side, because Draco wouldn't bear let Harry claim this victory alone, they find the basilisk. In canon, Harry kills it. Here, he speaks to it, commands it. The serpent of Slytherin recognizes something in Harry's voice, in his blood, in the darkness growing inside him. "I am the heir of Slytherin," Tom Riddle's memory declares when it manifests. "I am Lord Voldemort." Harry looks at the phantom of the Dark Lord at 16 and sees his own future staring back, powerful, feared, alone. "No," Harry says quietly, pulling a fang from the basilisk's mouth. "You were," past tense. He destroys the diary, not to save Ginny Weasley, but to eliminate competition. Third year brings Sirius Black, and with him the most dangerous variable in Harry's carefully constructed world. Someone who actually knew his parents. The news that a mass murderer escaped Azkaban to kill him should terrify Harry. Instead, he's calculating. Black was his parents' friend. Black betrayed them. That means Black has information, secrets, truths that Dumbledore has been hiding. And information, Harry's learned, is the ultimate power. But before he can even begin to track Black, something else happens. The Dementors. Those first encounters on the train, near the Quidditch pitch, show Harry something about himself he wasn't ready to face.
The Dementors force him to relive his worst memories, yes, but they also reveal what his worst memory truly is. Not his parents' death. He doesn't remember that. His worst memory is every day in the cupboard under the stairs, every moment of being nothing, every second of helplessness. The Dementors make him feel that again, and the rage it triggers is volcanic. Harry becomes obsessed with learning the Patronus, not as defense, but as conquest. Anything that can make him feel weak must be destroyed or controlled. Lupin's private lessons become psychological warfare neither participant fully understands. Lupin sees James in Harry's face, but something else in his eyes, something that makes the werewolf deeply uneasy. He teaches the Patronus because Dumbledore asked, but every lesson he watches this 13-year-old boy channel a determination that's almost frightening. When Harry finally produces a corporeal Patronus, it's not just powerful, it's wrong somehow. The stag is there, silver and bright, but there's something in the way it moves, in the air around it, that makes Lupin's skin crawl. It feels like Harry's forcing light magic to serve dark purposes. The truth about Sirius, when it comes, shatters something in Harry's worldview. An innocent man in Azkaban for 12 years, Peter Pettigrew alive, the Ministry corrupt or incompetent or both. Every authority figure Harry was supposed to trust either lied or failed. When they corner Pettigrew in the Shrieking Shack, the scene plays out with lethal precision. Harry doesn't argue about justice or Azkaban. He raises his wand at the cowering Animagus and speaks 2 words that make even Sirius Black's blood run cold. Avada Kedavra. The spell fails. He's too young, doesn't have the power yet, but the intent was there, real, pure.
4th year, and Harry Potter's name comes out of the Goblet of Fire for the Triwizard tournament. Most people assume he cheated. They're wrong. He absolutely cheated. See, by 4th year, Harry's network of information and influence has grown exponentially. He has students in every house feeding him information. He has Hermione researching magic that would make Dumbledore's hair turn white if he knew. He has the Philosopher's Stone hidden where even he sometimes forgets it exists, an insurance policy against mortality. When he learned about the tournament, Harry saw what Dumbledore couldn't. This was a stage, a platform, a way to demonstrate power on an international scale. So he didn't wait to be chosen, he engineered it. Through careful manipulation, he ensured his name entered that goblet with enough magical weight behind it to overwhelm the age line. The first task with the dragons reveals how far he's come. In canon, Harry outflies a horntail with basic seeker skills. Here, he speaks to the dragon in Parseltongue. It doesn't make the dragon friendly, but it makes it confused, hesitant. The entire stadium watches in stunned silence as Harry Potter has a hissing conversation with a Hungarian horntail before simply walking past it to retrieve the egg. Karkaroff's face goes white, Dumbledore's goes grave, and Voldemort, watching through his servant's eyes, feels something he hasn't felt in years: concern. Because Harry's not trying to win the tournament, he's using it to send a message. I am not your pawn. Not yours, Dumbledore, not yours, Voldemort, not anyone's. The Yule Ball becomes another demonstration when Harry attends alone, refusing every invitation, making it clear he doesn't need social validation. He watches Hermione with Crumb, Draco with Pansy, everyone pairing off and performing these rituals of normalcy, and feels only contempt. Their children playing at adulthood while he's planning for war.
The second task, the Black Lake, almost breaks his facade. They take Hermione as his hostage, the thing he'll miss most, and for the first time in years, Harry feels genuine fear. Not for himself, for the realization that he's allowed himself to care about something other than power. It's a weakness. Voldemort had Nagini, Dumbledore had his guilt, and Harry has Hermione Granger. He saves her with a ruthlessness that terrifies the merpeople, using magic so dark the water itself seems to recoil. When they surface, Hermione looks at him with new eyes, seeing something she'd been trying not to see for 3 years.
The third task, the maze, and waiting at the center, not glory, but destiny. Harry knows it's a trap. Of course he knows. He's been feeling Voldemort's emotions through their connection all year. The excitement, the anticipation, the hunger. Someone in the castle is working for the Dark Lord, and they want Harry at that cup. A smart person would refuse to play. But Harry's not trying to avoid the confrontation. He's been preparing for it. When he and Cedric grab the portkey, Harry's already cast shields, already has spells on his lips. Cedric dies instantly in this timeline. No hesitation, no dramatic monologue, just green light and a falling body. Voldemort's cruelty is efficient. The resurrection ritual proceeds as planned. Bone of the father, flesh of the servant, blood of the enemy. Harry's blood specifically, carrying his mother's protection, and, unknown to Voldemort, carrying something else, the corruption of the Philosopher's Stone that Harry's been secretly absorbing for 3 years, tiny doses of transmuted magic that had been changing him at a cellular level. When Voldemort rises from that cauldron, reconstructed and terrible, he looks at Harry with eyes that mirror the boy's own calculation. "At last," he whispers, "we meet as we truly are. No more pretense, no more hiding." The duel that follows isn't the desperate survival of canon. It's a conversation in violence. They're too connected, too similar. The wands bond through Priori Incantatem, but this time Harry doesn't just see his parents' shades and run. He holds the connection, drinking in every spell Voldemort's ever cast, learning through their linked magic. The pain is excruciating, but Harry's spent 4 years learning to weaponize pain. "You've been building your own army," Voldemort says, not accusatory, almost proud. "Training yourself in secret, pursuing power while pretending to be Dumbledore's weapon. You're more like me than even you know." "I know exactly how like you I am," Harry says, and breaks the connection, not by overpowering Voldemort, but by doing something the Dark Lord never expected. He releases the ghosts, all of them, not just to distract, but to speak to. His mother's shade looks at him with such sorrow that Harry almost breaks. "This isn't who you have to be," Lily's voice whispers. Harry grabs the portkey and Cedric's body. "Yes," he says quietly, "it is." When he returns to Hogwarts, holding a corpse and covered in blood, Harry Potter looks into Dumbledore's eyes and lies perfectly. He's back. 5th year should be Harry's breaking point. The Ministry denying Voldemort's return, Umbridge torturing students, the prophecy waiting in the Department of Mysteries. Instead, it's his coronation. Because here's what nobody understands. Harry doesn't need the Ministry to believe him. He doesn't need their validation or their protection. He's spent 4 years building something far more dangerous than a political alliance. He's built a following. Students who've seen his power and want to be near it. Purebloods who respect strength. Half-bloods who see representation. Even Muggleborns who are tired of being victims. When Umbridge bans defensive magic, Harry doesn't form Dumbledore's army to fight Voldemort. He forms something else entirely.
A group that learns magic without prejudice about light or dark, only effective or ineffective. They meet in the room of requirement, and Harry teaches them everything: curses, hexes, theory that would make Aurors uncomfortable. Hermione tries to object, tries to pull him back, but even she's been corrupted by proximity to his ambition. The prophecy, when Harry learns of it, should terrify him. Neither can live while the other survives. Instead, it clarifies everything. There's no peace, no compromise, no middle ground. Either Voldemort wins or Harry does, and Harry has no intention of losing. The battle at the Department of Mysteries plays out like dominoes falling in directions nobody predicted. Sirius still dies, but Harry's reaction isn't grief-stricken rage, it's cold calculation. Another person who could have anchored him to the light, gone, another chain removed. When he faces Voldemort in the Ministry atrium, witnessed by Fudge and Aurors and Ministry workers, Harry doesn't just survive, he fights the Dark Lord to a standstill. 15 years old, and he's trading curses with the most powerful dark wizard in a century. The Ministry can't deny Voldemort's return anymore, but they also can't ignore what Harry Potter is becoming. Dumbledore arrives too late. He watches the duels ending, sees the darkness in Harry's magic, the way he uses spells that shouldn't be in any fifth year's arsenal, and realizes his worst fear has manifested. The weapon he forged to kill Voldemort has become something else, something that might be more dangerous than Voldemort ever was. Because Voldemort wanted to rule through fear, Harry Potter wants something far more insidious. He wants to rewrite the rules entirely. No more dark, no more light. Just power, just survival, just him. The prophecy said one must die at the hand of the other. It never specified which one would be standing at the end. And as Harry walks out of the Ministry that night, with Hermione at his side and half the student body of Hogwarts ready to follow him into whatever comes next, one thing becomes crystal clear. The wizarding world isn't preparing for a war between Voldemort and Dumbledore anymore. They're preparing for a three-way apocalypse. And the scariest part isn't that Harry Potter has become dark. It's that he's become something entirely new. Neither savior nor destroyer, neither light nor dark, just inevitable. The boy who lived has become the boy who chose, and his choice is reshaping everything we thought we knew about power, destiny, and what happens when you give a broken child infinite potential and zero reasons to use it for good. The question now isn't whether Harry will stop Voldemort, it's whether anyone will be able to stop Harry. And based on everything we've seen, everything he's built, every choice he's made from that first night when the Sorting Hat touched his head and he whispered one word that changed everything, the answer might be no. No one can stop him now. Not Dumbledore with his plans and manipulations, not Voldemort with his Death Eaters and Horcruxes, not the Ministry with its laws and ignorance. Harry Potter spent 5 years being underestimated, being seen as either Dumbledore's weapon or Voldemort's target, being everyone's piece on a chessboard they thought they controlled. But what happens when the piece realizes it's not playing chess anymore? What happens when it flips the board? We're about to find out, and the wizarding world will never be the same.